I'm Chaitanya. I will be the trainer for you the next 45 days of classes, AWS classes. So what we are going to learn in the AWS and all the things that we will learn. First of all, the agenda of today's classes will be what is cloud, and the second one is so what is the cloud services, or else what are the cloud services that we have to understand these concepts. So as per today's agenda, we need to complete these two things before going further. So everybody will be nowadays, everyone are hearing the word called as cloud, AWS, Azure, GCP, all these things. Now, if you see here, what is meant by cloud? Before you understand these things, you need to have a brief looking towards your infrastructure. So before you learn about cloud, or else what cloud is actually. So previously, several years before or several years before, everybody will say that a cloud is a storage. Cloud is a storage where we will be storing the data. So only to store the data, we use the cloud. But as of now, what is happening as the days go on and as the years pass on, the cloud has introduced so many services. So we will discuss about that. Anyways, so a cloud storage, a cloud is basically is all about the storage where developers or developers. Anyways, this is completely for infrastructure like we are going to discuss the cloud regarding the infrastructure. This is all regarding the DevOps itself. So if you are learning, it is completely only about AWS. We are not discussing about the DevOps. Whatever the course that you are learning in the next 45 days, that will be completely about AWS only. It is not for the DevOps. So the DevOps classes are different. Okay. So you are a certified AWS developers, that's fine. So then these classes are not meant for this. So you are looking for this. Anyways, we will discuss about that. We will bring it out. Anyways, in the last 20 minutes of the time, last 10 minutes of the time will be for your questionnaire. We will discuss all about all those things. But as of now, let us dive into the concepts that we are going to discuss. Okay. Anyways, coming back to the next one. Yep. Nothing much. That's fine. I will try to clear out all your doubts. Whoever are having any doubts regarding the cloud, we will discuss about all those doubts in the next last 10 minutes of the session, where we are going to end at the time of ending of the session. We will discuss about all those things. Don't worry. Now, when we go back to this, everybody are thinking that the cloud is a storage. In the previous days, everybody are thinking that the cloud is a storage. Simply, if I have to say, the best example, so many people will take as Google Drive, or else OneDrive, or else somewhere like Microsoft Drive. So anything will comes under the cloud storage. They will thinking about that I can store the data into the cloud. But later on, what happened? The cloud has introduced so many services, and before we go for the AWS, first of all, you need to understand why we require cloud. What is the necessity that each and every company nowadays? What is the necessity that each and every company are looking forward for cloud? So, so every startup company, or also every small range of companies are looking for cloud engineers, or also MMs is also nowadays looking for the cloud engineers. What is the necessity for that? So before going for all those things, if you are an engineer, if you are an engineer in working in any IT firm, so everybody knows that for running the IT services, you need to have servers. So you need to have the servers, and you need to have network, and then you need to have the security appliances or all security devices. All these things you need to have. The collaboration of all these things, the collaboration of servers, network, and security, all these things will comes under a particular locality, or else particular what I can say, particular room of servers. Then that is called as a data center, where we are going to install all our servers. So servers, networking, and security. So what is meant by a data center? So if you need to understand this before going for the cloud, we need to understand the data center architecture. What is meant by data center? So a data center is a place where a large amount of server racks are installed. Inside those server racks, we will have the physical servers. So what is meant by this data center? Now, as I already said you, and this data center will provide you about servers, and it in inbuilt to the data center we will have the network, and this will provide you the security devices. All the security devices will be present inside the data center. Now, how a data center will be looking like physically, how a data center will be looking like. So if I go here, just so if you see, these are the server racks where your servers are getting installed. Is my screen visible to you? Is there any problem with the screen sharing?
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
No,
Yeah.
it's visible.
That's fine. So if you see here, these are the server racks, or else these are the racks where inside your data center where all your servers are getting installed. And not only the servers, in these racks you can install the networking devices like routers, and as well as the security devices like firewalls. Everything will be installed inside these racks, and all the racks are present inside a data center. Now, if I have to show you, it's a very huge area. The data center is going to cover a very huge area. If you see in this picture, you can clearly visualize that how big the data center is all about. See that? So if you see the trucks near the data center, see how they are looking like a small toys. So this is this big how a data center. Actually, it is like it is a cloud data center. But when you compare to your normal data centers, like normal company data centers, for example, if you are going to take about TCS, or else if you're going to take about Wipro, or else any company data centers, they are relatively small compared to the cloud data center. But eventually, what you are going to find out inside a data center, only the servers and network and security appliances will be available inside a data center. Now, how can we select an area for a data center? If I want to install any data center, then how can I select an area for a data center? The first thing what you need to see is you need to check it out for the power. So if you think in a company which is having a 10 computers, if in a room there are 10 computers, then definitely we need to have an AC. But if you go for a data center, a very big data center where there are thousands of racks, inside the thousands of racks, you can have some thousands of servers. Now, how much amount of AC, or else how much amount of coolingness that the particular servers will require? And regarding that, how much amount of power that a data center requires? So we need to have high power availability, so that the data center will get power from two substations. From two substations without any power loss. If at all one substation is down, then we can get the power from the another substation, so that continuous power supply will be available for the data center, and as well as it will have around 3 days of power backup. A data center will have 3 days of power backup, and that is how we can maintain continuity in the power thing. And the next one is the second one, and the most important one is networking. Like data centers are not residing near to or else next to your companies. So data centers will be available only at the far end of the city, so that we need to have the network connectivity from our company, that the server needs to connect to the data center, or else the client needs to connect to the data center where their servers are located. So how they are going to connect? If at all there is no network connectivity, it is impossible to connect to the data center. So definitely we need to have a network connectivity that can be done by your data center. And the next one is, first of all, we need to check out the climatic conditions also, and we climatic conditions, like what are previously within 20 to 30 years, is there any disaster occurred at that particular location? If there are any disasters, then the data center will not be installed at that particular location. So if there is no disasters are occurred, or else less frequently any disasters are occurred, then that can be selected as a perfect area for installing the data center. And as well as transport facility. So why we require this transport facility? And not only that, we need to have, so every 5 to 6 years the equipment will be changing. Obviously we have to change the servers, or else obviously we need to go for the maintenance of the servers. Everything will be done. So within 5 to 6 years we need to have all the changes. For that we need to have the transport facility available very near to the data center. Of course the data centers has to be installed far end of the city, but still we need to have the connectivity through the all ways of transport. And as well as equipment requirement, as I already said you that every 5 years we need to change the data center or else data center equipment. Then definitely we need to have all these things ready. So why we require all this? Why we require the data centers? What is the necessity of a data center? Like, hope you understand that what are the necessities that we have, or else what are the precautions that we have to take whenever we are installing any data center. Now, after installing the data center, my data will be transferred between the companies and to the customers. Now, if I have to install this data center, which is very, very big in scale, I need to have very huge amount of investment that I have to do on a particular data center. If I am a small scale industry, or else if I am running a small scale firm, then how can I go for this type of data center? Is that feasible for me? For example, there is a company where there are only 5 to 6 employees are there. They are trying to work it on a particular application, and they want to deploy the application on a particular server, which is about a very startup industry. So for a startup industry, is that recommended to have the servers, these many number of servers and this many number of what I can say, how much amount you are going to spend on the servers is not feasible for a startup company. So what is the main thing that we have to overcome without spending the cost, without having this much amount of cost? How can I go for that? Now there comes a picture of cloud. So this is how your cloud will be introduced for the small scale industries. What is meant by a cloud? A cloud is a service provider, or else it is going to provide the compute service, or else it is going to provide the network and security services, and you are going to have your computers just within a blink of your eyes. You can install your servers and you can run your applications without any further efforts, without putting any extra efforts, or else without purchasing those servers. You will just rent a server and you will just install the application on the server and you will run it out. For example, if I have to show you, I don't have any server right now. I just want to introduce, or else I just want to install my own company. So I will go to aws.amazon.com. From here I will log into my console. I will just install a server. Give my password. Simply I will go with the configuration of the server. I will just install a server within a while, and I will deploy my own application. Example -server. That's running good. Now I'll select this and instance. And if you see here where I have connected, now I am in Hyderabad location, or else I'm in a remote location, but I am going to connect to the server which is created inside the North Virginia region. So between between Hyderabad and North Virginia region, definitely I need to have a connectivity so that I can access my server. Now let me take the server. Let me take the remote of this server. Okay. C2 user. can come to know about all those things. Don't worry about that. But still, now you are able to access your server. Now, if I want a website, if I want to have a website right now, I don't have any website running on the server. But if I want instantly, if I want any website, let me do one thing. How update y install Nginx. Now I am going to install my web services, and eventually I am going to get my website as soon as the Nginx has been installed on my server. Obviously, I am going to get my services up, and I can run my desired website. So what is it is saying? Not available. Okay, that's fine. Is on Linux extras install Nginx. Okay, systemctl start Nginx. Now my services has been started. Now if I refresh this, if you see here, I got my website. Instantly I'm getting my services up and running. So I don't require anything. I don't need to bother about my servers. I don't need to bother about the networking, and I don't need to bother about the operating system that has been running, whether it has been installed properly or not. Is there any monitoring that I have to do? I don't need to bother all these things. Just I have installed my server, and I just install my services, and I'm running the services on that particular server. So I'm able to work it out instantly. But if I want to change this, now if you see here, I got a website like welcome to Nginx. I will just make it a small change. Nano/user share Nginx HTML index.html. Welcome. Now I'll go over here. I'll simply say welcome to AWS trainings. When I refresh this, automatically the website has been updated like this, so that what is happening here in the back end, what is happening? So I have just deployed a server, and from the server I deployed a service so that it is instantly accessible by each and every person. Now, if you take this URL and if you search in your mobile phone also, you can access this service. Now, this is how the cloud will be helpful for the right now. The cloud will be helpful for the candidates who are, or else for the companies which are budding companies, any budding companies that are coming into the picture. This is how the cloud will be helpful. Now, what are the different cloud service providers that we are having? So the cloud service providers are AWS, Azure, and GCP, and like that we are having so many cloud providers like Alibaba, and then we are having virtual VMware cloud, and then Oracle cloud. That there are so many clouds are available, but as of now, the majority of the cloud market share was taken by these three companies. One is AWS, and the other one is Azure, and the other one is GCP. Now, if you are going to learn about the cloud, now whenever you are learning the cloud, what are the steps, or else what is the procedure how you can learn a cloud? The first thing that you need to understand, or else first you need to make sure that you have a knowledge in Linux. So definitely every cloud engineer has to have a knowledge on Linux. Basic Linux is more than enough to have knowledge, or else to get understanding about the cloud infrastructure, or else whatever the practicals, or else whatever the services that we are accessing. Majority of the services will be taken care by the Linux operating system itself. So you need to have a basic understanding about the Linux, and then you need to have any one cloud. So basically you need to have an understanding about any one cloud. First of all, you need to start your career by learning any one cloud, that is either AWS or else Azure. I am not saying you to learn about definitely you have to have an understanding. First you need to learn AWS and then you need to go for Azure. It is not recommended. You can have a brief understanding about either you can have a knowledge on AWS or also either you can have a knowledge on Azure. After learning that, then you can go with the DevOps, and then you can go with the then you can have shift. If you learn here AWS, after completion of AWS you can go with the DevOps, and after completion of DevOps you can go with the Azure. So if you learn AWS you can go with Azure, or else if you learn Azure then you can go with the AWS. And after that, so it's recommended to have a knowledge on Kubernetes, and then you can learn if you are further interested to learn about more about the cloud, then you can go with the GCP configurations. And then lastly, now each and every company are requiring the candidates who has the knowledge on infrastructure and as well as the coding. So definitely they are looking further for an engineer who is having knowledge on any sort of coding. I will recommend you to have a look over the Python. So this is the agenda, or else this is how you are going to learn the cloud from basics to the higher levels. So this is how you are going to complete your sessions, and or also this is how you are going to learn all the cloud, and so that you can get a prominent job in a company. Now definitely, is that recommended to have a knowledge on Python? It is not recommended to have that, but if you are having a knowledge on I'm not specifying that you should have a knowledge on Python to learn the cloud. It is not recommended. But if you are interested towards learning the coding, and if you want to get a job in a good firm, then definitely you need to have the basic knowledge about coding, and as well as you need to have the basic knowledge about infrastructure. So whatever we are learning in the AWS, what are the concepts that we are learning in this class in the next 45 days, that is completely regarding your infrastructure only. There is no more coding that will be involved into your AWS. Now, what we are going to learn in the next couple of months, or else next 45 days, the first one is, so what will be the curriculum of the next 45 days? As I already shared with you in the website, and you can have a look over that. But if you want to know about that, I will just share you a brief curriculum here. So the first concept that we are going to discuss is VPCs. So in Amazon, first of all, you need to have a basic understanding about the first one is introduction to cloud. Intro to cloud. This is the first thing that you are going to learn. After that, you are going to learn about VPC, virtual private cloud. And inside VPC, there are some services like what VPC will be providing. So the VPC will be providing like somewhere VPC peering, NAT gateway, and security group, security concepts, and then VPN configuration. And then we will be learning about transit gateways. These are all the concepts that you are going to learn in VPC. And before you go for this, my recommendation is that you need to have a basic understanding about the networking also. Not very in-depth of networking. CCNA level is not required, but you need to have a basic understanding about networking. Among those networking concepts, you need to have a knowledge on IP addresses, and the next one is CIDR range. So these are the concepts that you need to have a basic understanding before you go for the VPC configuration. Why? Because VPC will comes under the networking services that are provided by the Amazon Web Services. So you need to have the basic understanding about these things. And after that, after VPC, then we will be going with EC2, Elastic Cloud Computing. So in EC2, we will be learning about what are the different types of instances that we are having, and how to configure the instances, and what are the different images that we are having. Either it might be a Red Hat image, or else it might be Ubuntu image, or else it might be Amazon Linux image, Windows image. These are all the things that we are going to learn in EC2 instances, and as well as we are going to learn about launch templates, and then we will be learning about load balancers, auto scaling groups. These are all the concepts, and with that we will be learning about global accelerator, Route 53, and CloudFront. These are some of the services that are provided by the AWS itself. And after EC2, then we will be going for IAM policies. So it's just a two to 3 days of classes. IAM, identity and access management, where you are going to know about who are users, what are the roles that we can specify, and then we will be going with the role-based policies, and then we will be going with the role switching. These are all the concepts that you are going to learn in IAM, and then we will be learning about, after IAM, Then we will be learning about S3 buckets. As we already know that S3 comes under the storage that is provided by the Amazon itself. So S3 buckets, simple storage services where we can store a huge amount of data. When you go for the EC2 instances, there is a storage called as EBS where you can store up to 16 TB of data. But when you go for the S3 buckets, here you can store huge amount of data, huge, like more than 16 TB. You can go with the unlimited storage. So that is provided by the S3. And then we will be learning about some of the concepts like RDS. Inside S3, you will be learning about EFS. So S3 Glacier, EFS, FSX, these are all the concepts that you are going to learn in S3. And when you go for the RDS, relational databases, so you will be learning about MySQL. And then NoSQL concepts will be there. Under NoSQL, I will be trying to show you how DynamoDB will be working out. So these are the concepts that you are going to learn. After that, you are going to learn about CloudWatch. And finally, we'll be learning about cloud formation. If possible, then there is a concept called as a data migration. So data migration will be there from on-prem to cloud. This is completely optional. I'm not going to completely rely on this, or else I am not going to completely give a picture about how a data can be migrated from my on-prem to the cloud. But if in case if it is possible, then definitely I will go with the data migration also. These are the concepts that you are going to learn in the AWS. Hope you have a clear picture of what you are going to learn and how you are going to work it out. So is there any queries regarding this? If you have any doubts, you can ask me right now, or else we will go further. Yes, Pradeep, we will have the practical hands-on, whatever the concepts that we are telling that you are going to learn, that will be completely practical related. I am not going to share any theory part. So in AWS, whatever we are doing, it's completely practical itself. Sorry, we don't have any class for the developers for the project related things. It is completely basic concepts that we are going to discuss, how an infrastructure can be maintained. Will we cover Linux? Linux is completely basic. Will you give the basic idea? See, if I have to go for the Linux, then it is again going to take another 15 days to complete the Linux. So the basics of the Linux, it will going to take another 15 days. So, yep. So if I have to say you, and if there are any Telugu people, there is a just let me show you my channel over here. Is it? Yeah. You go here. This is my CGIT trainings channel where you can have Linux content in Telugu. You can look after that. It will be helpful for you. I hope that, but it is completely in Telugu and some sort of English will be there. So if you are having any doubts regarding that, you can have a look over that. So that is what I can recommend. But basics of Linux in the sense, whenever we are covering the AWS parts, yes, we can provide that. But compared to the next one, it's pretty difficult to have the classes going on with the same Linux concepts. If I have to cover the Linux and then I have to come to the AWS, then it is again going to take another 15 days of burden. If it is okay, then we can go further. Still any questions, any queries? Solution architect. If you are a solution architect, then I don't recommend you, but yep. If you want to check it out through practicals, how we are going to learn the AWS through practicals, then yes, you can have a look over that. I'm not recommending you to this. And the next question you are asking is sports. Do you provide material for AWS exam questions? Any material for AWS exam questions? So AWS exam questions, you can go through the AWS website where you can find out the exam questions. I will show you at the end of the session. You don't need to worry about that. AWS Lambda, yes, you are going to learn about AWS Lambda, but I am not saying that this is completely cloud administration. Yes, it is completely the cloud administration what you are going to learn. It is completely regarding how servers are deployed and how servers are maintained, how can we manage the services, like how to install or else how to create a particular web page, or else how to create a web application, and what are the different services that are provided by the AWS to run a particular IT firm. So yes, it is completely cloud administration. It will comes under complete cloud administration. How this course will be helpful for Oracle DBA. This course, Oracle DBA, it is not for this database administration. We are not going to provide, like, see, this is all comes under AWS Glue, Apache, Airflow covered here. No, I can simply say that I cannot, whatever the covering topics I have already mentioned about that. I didn't specify about AWS Glue and Apache. So yes, it is not that. Will you cover shell scripting in this course? No. Will you cover shell scripting? The shell scripting will comes under the Linux, and as well as when at the time of DevOps learning, you can have, I can cover the shell scripting. Right now, it is purely AWS, so we are concentrating more on AWS only. Python developers, see, Python developers, if you want to have an idea towards the infrastructure related thing, now if you are deploying any applications in any servers, how the servers will be functioning, what are the phases of deployment, and what are the different problems that an infrastructure will be provided, yes, it will be helpful for the Python developers also, if you are really interested towards learning about the operations team. So if at all, if you're a developer, you need to know how an operations team will be working. Yes, it might be helpful for you. What are the AWS certification possibly I can plan? You can plan AWS associate level certifications. Associate. Let me show you one thing. So if you are completing this course, you can plan for this certification, like you can go with excuse me, just give me a second. You can go with cloud solution architect associate level. You can write the exam, or else you can plan for the certification regarding this. You can go with this. Or else, if at all, if you are having any knowledge about prior knowledge about Python or else any coding, then you can go with the developer, and then you can go with the sysops administrator. These are the three levels of three associate levels, so you can plan for. See, Django is not covered in. Sorry. Django and AWS, which is the best suitable for Python? Why you are asking the Python questions in AWS classes? This is completely AWS. We are not Django and Python. Django is a framework that is available in Python, not in AWS. So please, if you are having any questions regarding the Python, or else it is not completely for developers. So if you are having any questions related to, I already said you that Glue will not be provided. Yes. Could you please share the complete topics you are going to cover and how many hours? I have already provided. Kavan, I already provided the same in the website. You can go through the website. I have given the complete curriculum, and as well as I have specified the topic also. So I don't want to waste the time on all the things. You can go with you can go to the website where you can find the topics. If you want the website, so I will just show you that. Now, if you go to this website, here you can have the curriculum where you have registered. So, yep. You can have the clear-cut curriculum, how many days it is going to take, and what are the different topics that we are going to cover in this, and all the things will be available right over here. So, so this is not the questions that you need to ask at this point of time. Will I get a job after this course? I don't recommend you to have the job only with the AWS. Then definitely you need to have the knowledge on both AWS and DevOps. So majority of the companies are looking for the engineers, but to learn DevOps, definitely you need to have the basic understanding about the AWS. So you need to have both, so AWS and DevOps. So by combination of these two courses, yes, definitely you will get a job. And I don't have the basic knowledge on Linux. I think you will provide, right? See, again, I am repeating. So if you don't have the Linux knowledge, Okay, that's fine, but the basics concepts cannot be covered. Why? Because again, I am saying you it's a time constraint. I have to complete the course within, if at all, if I have to complete the course within 45 to 60 days, then definitely you need to have the basic knowledge about Linux. If you don't have, you can go through my channel. You can have that. You can have the basic concepts only. You don't require much amount of much knowledge about the Linux, like administration level, like a pro. You don't require that. So let me do one thing. I will ping you at the right of my class. Anyways, still CGIT trainings, you can search it out. So this is what my channel, you can go through that. You will be having the basic concepts about the Linux, not in-depth about that in the channel. Yes, it's a regular class, and yeah, when I go for this, just let me complete this. So our class timings will be 7 to 8 and 7 to 8 a.m. every day from Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday, the classes will be there, and weekends will be off. Weekends, you don't have that. So that's about your which certificates can I write with this course? AWS, I already specify that. I don't want to repeat it. Without dumps, yes, you can find the dumps in the websites of AWS. You don't need to worry about that. Dumps are not required for the writing the exam, any exam. But anyways, if you want the dumps, then you can have it. So you don't need to worry about all those things. No dumps will be provided. And this is my, you can go through that if you want to learn about Linux. Yes. Any other questions regarding, don't go for the Python programming and all the things. We are not going to discuss about the Python programming. I am clearly, again, I am saying you that we are completely into the infrastructure as a service. After that, we are not going to discuss anything regarding the programming itself. Gautam, I already said you that you can go and write the AWS associate level of examinations. So I have specified the path also. So can I pass? That completely depends upon your hand. I cannot say that you will 100% you will have the pass percentage as 100%. Why? Because it's completely on your practical knowledge and on your theoretical knowledge what you are going to learn. So that's what I can say.
You said path, it is okay. I will. Which certificate?
Associate level certificate. I already said you.
Associate level, there is
solution. I have given you the clear picture. You are having the three levels of certifications. One is the AWS Solution Architect Associate, Developer, and Systems Administrator. Among those three certification, you can pass AWS Solution Architect Associate level.
Okay, with this course, I
yes.
can pass Solutions Architect.
Yes.
Okay.
Any queries regarding other things? I hope that everything is clear right now.
If you don't mind, please take my screen and look at it. Actually, I'm searching for cloud course.
Please, it's not a one-to-one session. I can have the session at the time of at the end of the session. I will definitely let you know about that. But as of now, we have to discuss about. I have to go for the another queries. So hope everything is clear. Is there any doubts regarding that?
Now, what I'm telling is, I already attended some other institutions demo class. They shared some course content that is very huge. They are telling that 26 tools in 2 months. So if you do, I am looking for your advice. Actually, I have a great belief in Durga Sir and his institution. So I am asking your view on that course. I can take that course or this course.
We will talk it in a one-to-one session. If you don't mind, we will discuss about that, please.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
When will you talk?
I will ping you within like after the completion of the class. Definitely, I will ping you on that. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Guys, will you provide the recorded session right like every class? Yes, recorded videos will be available for you at any at all the sessions of the recorded videos will be available for you. Don't worry about that. And this course has offline or online. Actually, right now we are connected through online, so that I can say this course will be online. And if you at all, if you want anything, you can come to the Durga Soft, which is located in Hyderabad. That's what if you want the offline. But as of now, this is completely online itself. Yes. Okay, fine. So that's about your queries. Hope you understand the queries. Is there further delays or else further things we will discuss in the later on sessions when we are going further into the classes. And as of now, I can clearly say that no programming or else no coding will be involved in the AWS training. It's purely infrastructure related training that you are going to get, and what are the different services that are provided by the Amazon Web Services, and how we are going to work on the Amazon services, what are the basic concepts that we are going to cover, everything will be there. That is completely regarding your infrastructure only. You don't have anything regarding the programming. So no programming languages are required, no Python language, no coding is required to learn the AWS, but a little bit of JSON is required, where we are going to cover in the cloud formation, that I can make you understand at the time of IAM policies and all the things. I will try to make sure that you are able to understand all these things. Hope you understand this. And still, so that's about what you are going to learn in next couple of months. And these are the topics that we are going to cover. And tomorrow we'll be starting the new class. So tomorrow we will be starting about what is meant by IaaS, what is meant by PaaS, and what is SAS, and what are the different types of clouds, and how we are going to create an AWS account. And then we will be covering all these small things after the completion of the class. Then the first three demos are the free demos. You don't need to worry about that. And afterwards, from Monday onwards, whatever the classes are going to commence, that classes will be completely, whoever the students that are registered into the course, they will be having the complete sessions for that. And finally, that is what I want to make it out. And the course content has mentioned on the Durgasoft portal, everything will be covered. Yes, of course, whatever the content that has been mentioned on the Durgasoft portal will be covered. Is the same link do we need to use to join? Yes, of course, you need to join. So the same link you need to have. Okay. So whatever the course content that is provided on the Durgasoft portal, as I already showed you the website and what are the contents that we are going to cover, you can go through this, so that whatever the topics that I have specified over there will be covered in the next couple of months. You don't need to worry about all those things. Okay. Can I get any course completion certificate after this? That can be set by the Durgasoft management team. You can contact the management team at the time of payment. They can give you the clear cut picture about that. You don't need to worry about the course complete certifications. Yes, all the things you will get. Don't worry. So hope you understand the session. Finally, what I want to say is welcome to Durgasoft. And yes, from tomorrow onwards, we are going to dive into the new concepts, what you are going to learn, new concepts or else new world of the cloud you are going to learn. And then you will be understanding a few more concepts regarding the cloud infrastructure only. What is meant by VPC, what is meant by EC2, what is meant by EBS, what is meant by S3, what is meant by CloudWatch, RDS, DynamoDB, S3 buckets, IAM policies. These are all the concepts that you are going to learn. Am I clear on that? Is there any queries regarding anything like Python coding or also anything you want to ask? You can ask me right now. And if there is no queries, then yes, we'll stop right here. And tomorrow we will be joining. And the sessions will be of 1 hour. Sometimes it might be prolonged to 1.5 hours also, depending upon the course content or else depending upon the content or else depending upon the topic that we are going to learn. Sometime it might be prolonged a much bit later. Yes, you can get the recording of this class also. I hope that we will provide this demos also, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay. So hope you guys hope you understand what you are going to learn in the next couple of months. And that's all from my end. So have a nice day and bye.
Take my screen.
Okay. Just give me a second. Gautam, right?
Yes.
Just give me a second. Can you ping me on this?
Yeah.
Just give me a second. You can ping me on that so that I will support you on this. After all this class has been completed, I will
Okay.
just show you.
Your
Okay.
mobile number, right?
It's not mine, but yes, you can ping it on that. Okay, don't worry. I will give you an instant reply on that. So yes,
Okay.
that's all for today. Have a nice day, guys. And Gautam, you can ping me on that. I will discuss about that.
This number has WhatsApp. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. We will see in the next class. Bye. To, so how who are eligible for this for the learning of this course, and what else then we have discussed about how you have to learn the course, what are the different stages that you have to learn the cloud. So first of all, you have to complete Linux, and then you have to go for AWS, and then you have to go for DevOps, and then you have Kubernetes. This is what we discussed, what is the path of learning cloud. And then we discussed about what else, and just I have given us some clarification regarding your cloud and all the things. So what are the scenarios that we have to take, and I have given you some curriculum regarding your cloud. And now today we will be discussing about as we have already discussed about the cloud, what is meant by cloud and all the things. I just want to repeat the what is cloud, and then I will just go enter into what is data center, and then we will go with the servers, physical servers, how physical servers will be looking like, and what are the different physical servers, rack servers, and then how a networking will be configured. And before entering into the AWS, just we will go through some of the basics of networking concepts, and then we will be going into the Linux operating system. So basics of Linux operating systems can be said here, and then we will be entering into AWS. So as I already said you that Linux is very important for your AWS. So we will be learning Linux, basics of Linux, what are the required commands that we need to understand. Those will be said in this topic, not the entire Linux. Though system administration level of Linux cannot be taught here. So what are the basic commands, how we have to access some of the commands, and what are the required commands that we need to understand to have a knowledge on AWS, that we will be learning in this class. Not only in this class, in the next class also we are going to understand about the networking concepts and Linux itself. So I need to say you about what is meant by cloud. Yeah, a cloud, everybody will think that cloud is a storage, but as I am saying you that the cloud can provide you different services remotely. So a cloud is an infrastructure provider which can provide you different types of infrastructure services like servers, and where you can install databases and applications in that servers. So again, I am repeating that a cloud is an infrastructure provider which will provide the servers and networking concepts, and inside that servers you can install the databases and applications, whatever your requirement are there. So this is about the cloud. So is cloud is physically present, or else whether it's an imaginary thing? So if I have to say you, so cloud is a physical data center. So what is this physical data center? As we already discussed in the last class, what is meant by a data center? A data center is a place where you will have a large number of servers are assembled. So what is this? What is meant by a large number of servers assembled? So a data center is a place where large number of servers are assembled. So how servers will be assembled inside a data center? So if you see, as I already said you in the last class, I have given you the scenario that a data center is a very large place where you can have multiple number of rack servers. Rack servers or also blade servers will be there. So how these rack servers will be looking like, I already given you an example. If I go back here, so you see here, this is how your data center will be looking like. A huge amount of servers will be assembled. This is how your rack servers will be there, and these racks will have an server. So these racks will consisting of physical servers, and as well as these racks will have the networking related devices like Cisco routers or Juniper routers, and in this racks we can configure the firewalls like Barracuda firewall, or also whatever the another type of Fortinet firewalls. All these devices will be connected over here. Now, how a physical server will be looking like. So just give it for an example, if you go for HP Gen 10 server, so this is how a physical rack server will be looking like. Yeah. So this is the rear view of your server where you will have all the hard disks are assembled. And this is, if I have to show you, I will show you this. This is the best example. Over there. You take this. Now, this is how your physical server will be looking like. This is the HP Gen 10 server where this is the front end. So if you can see this, here you can see the green lights are blinking. All these green lights are indicating to your hard disk. And this is the rear view of your server where these are all the hard disk, what I can say, a hard disk base where you can install all the hard disks. And these are all about your LAN ports where you can connect your networking cables. And this is about your power supply. And this is the serial port, and this is your power supply channel. So these are the fans. These are the fans which will be cooling your server, and these are your this is the VGA cable which can be connected to your monitor. So this is how your servers will be looking like, and these servers are clamped to your racks. So as I already said you that in data center you will have the racks. So if I have to show you server racks, so this is how your server racks will be looking like inside a data center. So yeah, this is how your servers, or else this is how your racks will be available inside the data center where all the servers are clamped into your racks. So just like your wardrobes, how your wardrobes are looking like, in the same manner your racks will be looking like this. So in this server we will be implementing some of the virtualization concepts. There is a concept called as virtualization. Inside that virtual machines we are going to deploy the operating system, and inside that operating system we are going to deploy our application. So if I have to say you, I will show you a small diagram. So there is a very big area. This is the area where suppose if you think this is my data center. Inside my data center there will be racks. This is about your server rack. This is how your server rack will be. Inside the server rack you will be having multiple physical servers. So if you think this is the physical server, and not only a single server, a rack can consisting about 20 to 25 physical servers in a single rack, and there will be some thousands of racks that are available inside a data center. So this is how your servers will be there, and inside these servers you will have virtual machines. You can come to know about these virtual machines. You don't worry about that. So this is a virtual machine inside, and again you will have multiple virtual machines. Like this, you will have the virtual machines, and inside the virtual machines we are going to implement the applications, and inside we are going to implement whatever the applications that we require. So this is how your server rack will be having, and inside, and there will be multiple server racks that are available inside a data center. So this is how your data center will be looking like. So now each and every rack will be interconnected. In each and every rack will be interconnected through networking. So we are going to lay a networking between all the racks, or else network cable between all the racks, so that each rack will be having the communication, or else each and every server will have the communication with the another server. So two servers will be getting communicated with each other. And here you need to understand one concept called as I am discussing here, you need to understand what is meant by network. So and then what is meant by networking and all the things. And here you need to, very most importantly, you need to understand IP address. What is meant by IP address? These are the few terms that you need to have a brief understanding. Now, when I get back to the data center, as you have understand this, this is what the data center is. The collaboration of multiple physical servers in a single place is called as a data center. And a cloud is like a very big data center where we can have a collaborative of multiple servers and networking devices and security devices. And this cloud will provide you the services. This cloud will provide the user required services. Whether the user want any storage, yes, it can be provided through cloud, or else user want any servers, it can be provided by your cloud, and whatever, whatnot. A cloud is going to provide each and everything that a user requires. Now, we will be knowing about what is meant by network and what is meant by address in a meanwhile. But so here I need to complete, or else here you need to understand a few more concepts, like what are the different service models that a cloud can provide. See, now I am saying that a cloud is going to provide you the servers, networking, or else networking related things and applications and databases and all the things. How it is going to provide that? So here we are having some cloud service models. I will call them as IaaS, or simply I can write IaaS, capital S, which means infrastructure as a service, or it can be written in the form of IaaS. In the uppercase also you can write like this. So here you need to understand what is meant by yes. So infrastructure as a service. Infra as a service. So let us go for a brief example. If I have to say you an example for this. Now you have constructed, or else you have given a contract to a contractor that to build a very home, so very new home. So he has constructed a new home for you, and he has hand over a home to you. So whenever he is doing that, he can cross check that what are the required things for the home, like whether we have created or constructed a wall clearly, or else is there anything that we have to do with the with all the home related things, he can do that. But if you ask the contractor, so when, at the time of joining into your, or else housewarming thing, if you ask the contractor that, hey contractor, okay, you have constructed a very good house, but what about the appliances? There are no AC, there is no AC, there is no refrigerator, there is no TV inside my home. If you ask like that, what contractor will say? Obviously, he's going to say that, hey mate, that is not my work to do. So my work is to construct a home for you. I have constructed a beautiful home for you, but the application related things, like whatever you want a refrigerator, that's your thing to purchase it, or else if you want a TV, that's your thing to purchase. That is not my thing. So my work is to construct a home for you. I have done my work, and remaining like applications and all the things, that's your responsibility. So in the same manner, as like the same scenario in IaaS also, infrastructure as a service also, so the service provider, whoever are the cloud service providers are there, either it might be AWS, or else it might be Azure, any service provider. So in the infrastructure as a service, they are going to provide you the infrastructure. So what is meant by infrastructure? So here the infrastructure is nothing but they are going to provide you the servers, network, and somewhere like data, so network and security. Security. So these are the things that they will be providing. And inside the servers, if you want to launch SQL application, or else if you want to launch Python application, MySQL application, Postgres application, that's completely depending upon the user requirement. That doesn't bother, that doesn't have anything to do with the infrastructure as a service. So if you go and ask the service provider, hey mate, I have created a server inside your cloud, but you are not providing SQL inside that server. So obviously AWS or else any service provider is going to say you that, thank you for contacting, but that's not my responsibility to provide the application also. It's your responsibility as you have chosen IaaS. So it's not my responsibility to give the applications for you. It's completely your responsibility. If you want to install Nginx, or else if you want to run Python, or else if you want to run MySQL, that's completely related to you. So whatever you want to do, you can do that. But this is the silly question which you are asking because you have opted for infrastructure as a service. So what I can do now, if at all, if I want the applications should be installed inside the server. So if I have to show you an example for this, let me go back here. I will be logging into my AWS account. So here, if you can see, we are having, I think I am having a server over here. So let me log into this server. Am I able to log into that? Just give me a second. Where is my public icon? Excuse me. Once we complete this, once we complete the basic things, then I will show you what are the lab requirements, what are the softwares that you want to have to understand AWS. So what are the different softwares like Putty? Actually, that is called as Putty, but as per our Indian English, then that name has been termed as Putty. So I will let you explain, or else I will tell you how to install Putty in your computer. And these are the some softwares that we require. Putty only, we require not much more than that. And you need to have and one more editor called as Visual Studio Code. That is very helpful for you. That is a handy application for you to edit some of the code. So sir, yesterday you said there will be no coding, but now you are saying that there is some code. But here we will be having JSON scripting, where you are going to write a little bit of code for your IAM policies to understand that we require some application called as Visual Studio Code. I will make you understand about that. Don't worry. So these are the applications that we require to understand cloud. Rather than that, we don't require anything else. By default, you will be having Chrome or else Edge. Anything is okay for you. And tomorrow I will be saying about how to create an AWS account so that you can create an AWS account and all the things. So don't worry about that. So let me log into the server. So welcome to server. Sorry. Sorry, I wrote that I got. Right. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you see here, now when I give the IP address of this server in my URL or else in my address box, if I give like this, now what I'm going to get, I'm going to get the server, whatever the service that you want to reach, you are unable to reach to that particular service. So the site cannot be reached. Why? Because I don't have any website that is installed in my server. So now what I'm going to do here is, let me show you. So as I already said you, they will provide, or else the service providers will provide me the infrastructure only, which means that they will provide the servers, they will provide the networking, and they will provide the security only. They are not going to provide any application related things. So if you want to go for that, then it's our responsibility to have installing. So if I want to convert this as a web server, just I will go for, let me do one thing, apt install nginx -y. Now when I do that, so automatically my server will be converted as a web server. So I can provide the web services from this server. Let us have a look into that. Now when I refresh this, see that I got a website like welcome to nginx, which means that I have deployed an application called as nginx, so that my server has become a web server. Now if I want to install SQL, it is my responsibility to install the application. So this is what I can say you. I can simply say you about IaaS. So IaaS means infrastructure as a service, where they are going to provide only the infrastructure, and remaining concepts are all regarding our things. So an engineer has to work it on whether I have to convert the server into a web server, or else an application server, or else any database server. That's completely depends upon the user thing. Now the second one is, I hope that you understand about IaaS, and the second one is PaaS. So what is meant by PaaS? PaaS means platform as a service. Platform as a service. So here you are going to request for the platform. So if you want to have a database like MySQL or else PostgreSQL, you are just going to going for the console like RDS console, and you are going to select whatever the database that you want to install in your console. You will just go to that particular service and you will install that particular service. So the best example which I can show you here is, let me go back here. So yeah, if I open this, so RDS, yes, if you here I'm just going to select which type of operating system, or else which type of database I require. I will select create database, and it is going to show me a wide variety of databases which I want to install in my cloud. So it is going to ask me whether you want to install Amazon Aurora, MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL, Oracle, and SQL Server. So see, some of the candidates in your company might know about MySQL, and some might be knowing about PostgreSQL. One client will ask that I want to deploy my server, or else I want to deploy my database inside an Oracle database, or else I want to take a database like Postgres database. That completely depends upon the user requirement. So if you want MySQL, you can select MySQL, and you can deploy that particular database. Now here what you are doing, you are selecting the platform, you are selecting the application. Just you want the MySQL database, yes, you are selecting, but you are not working on servers. So here if you see in this phase, you are working on the servers, you are creating a server, and inside that server you are installing the application. But here if you see that you are not going to create any server, you are just going to select the database, and that inside the and you need to understand that we are not going to select any server where this database will be installed. By default, cloud service provider will have will have a thinking that this database should be installed in a particular server. Either it might be a Linux server or else Windows server. We are not going to select the platform, which means we are not going to select any operating system, which operating system this database has to be installed. We are just selecting the database. So this is like a service apartment. I think you know what is meant by a service apartment. Can anybody tell me what is meant by service apartment? Yes.
So basically service apartment is something like everything will be provided, including food, stay, accommodation, this kind of thing. So we should go and stay similar to that when we choose the platform here. So
yes,
everything will be provided. We just go on.
Very nice, very nicely said. There is a small correction here. A service apartment, they are not going to provide any sort of food. but they are going to provide the entire equipment or else entire application that we require. So they are going to provide us the infrastructure like home and all the things, and they are going to provide us what are the applications that the user requires. And they will clearly mention that, and whenever they are handovering the apartment to the user, they will clearly mention that these are the applications. So if you go inside the service apartment, and there will be definitely there will be some television, there will be fridge and a refrigerator, and there will be washing machine. And if you go inside and ask the whoever or the contractor or else whoever or the mediator, if you ask him, uh, you are having a television called a television like MI television is there, but I want Sony television. So then obviously the contractor is going to say you that, mate, sorry for that, as you already checked into that. So whenever you are looking for any service apartment, you will be going inside a website and you are going to check out all the applications what are available inside that particular apartment. So you have checked that completely, right? Then why again asking you for the different equipment what you are used, what you have seen. So you have seen that we are going to provide you the this particular television and this particular brand of AC and this particular brand of refrigerator. You have seen and you have accepted all the terms. Now you when you come here, you are asking for the different terms. We are not going to provide this. So whatever the services that we are providing, whatever the company or else whatever the brand that we are providing, you have to accept it. So in the same manner, if you go back here, here you are going to select the, here you are going to select my databases, and you will select MySQL. Again, whenever you, at the time of installation, I don't want on Windows, I want on Linux. So first of all, the user don't know on which platform this particular SQL is going to be installed. Either it might be Windows platform or else it might be Linux platform. But still, the user cannot ask for the platform. So that is what I want to say you about the past, where you will have just they are going to provide you the softwares, or else they are simply going to provide you the platform as a service. And the next one is SaaS. SaaS. So this is called as software as a service. Software as a service. Now, what is this software as a service? This is like completely you are going to stay in a hotel where they are going to. So the best example is the hotels. When you go and stay in a hotel, they are not going to. You are not going to pay for constructing, or also you are not going to have a lifetime thing. So you will just go to a particular date and you will check in into a particular date, and you will check out at a particular date. In the same manner, and you are going to use all the equipment that has or also all the amenities that has been provided by the hotel. Either it might be that is rooms and whatever the application, and as well as they are going to provide free breakfast, free lunch, everything they are going to see into that. So you don't need to worry about all those things. So the only thing is you need to purchase or else you need to pay for what you are staying. So in the same manner here, SAS means software as a service, where you are going to purchase the software and you are using that software for whatever the time that you have purchased. The best example I can say is Office 365. Office 365. So this is the best example of software as a service, where you are going to purchase a software and you will be using that software. And the another example is also, I can say it as Salesforce. Salesforce is also comes under the software as a service, where you are going to purchase it and you are going to use it. And so if you, when at the time of using these softwares, Office 365 and all the things, if you are at the time of using that, if you write a feedback letter for, or else if you write that, thank you for providing the software, but I want a little bit of changes. So now obviously the Microsoft or also Office 365 team is going to reply you like this. So whatever the software that we have provided, use it. We are not going to add anything else, but thank you for your feedback, and we will be updating that in the next update. So this is what the reply that they will be providing. So you have to use what they have given. That's it, and you don't have a chance to modify that. So simply, if I have to show you, let me show you a best example I am having. Just give me a second. I will show you one thing. Does it? Yeah. If I go here, this particular diagram will brief you about what is on-site, what is IaaS, what is PaaS, and what is SaaS. If you see here so what is blue? Here the blue represent you manage, whatever the user manages, and the orange or else red represents that service provider managers. Whoever are the service providers, either it might be cloud service provider, what they are going to manage. So if you see here on-site, so networking, storage, servers, virtualization, everything, operating system, middleware, runtime, data, and application, everything will be managed by the customer only, or else client, or else the user, or else the IT service guy only will do that. So IT service guy will do all these things. But when you go back to the cloud, that is IaaS, infrastructure as a service, here the service provider or else the service vendors who are providing you the services, like it might be AWS, Azure, GCP, Oracle Cloud, either whatever the service provider. So if at all, if you are opting for an IaaS service, then they are going to provide networking, storage, servers, and virtualization. So these servers will be physical servers that completely depends upon the service provider only, whether they can use HP servers, they can use Dell servers, they can use, so you cannot specify that I want these company servers. So you have to accept whatever the physical servers, and inside that physical servers, what are the virtual machines that they are giving, we have to accept it. But at the time of installing our operating system, we can select the operating system. So either you want the Ubuntu machine, or else you want the Red Hat machine, or else you want only Windows machine, you can select the operating system. And on that, we can install the applications, and then we can have an access towards our user data. So this is about my IaaS. When you come back to PaaS, in PaaS, you don't have access up to runtime. You don't have to select the operating system. Only what you can do is whatever the data, whatever the user data that you are getting, you can have an access towards that. And if you want to change the application related thing inside the application, whatever you want to do, you can change it out in the past. Now, when coming to the SaaS, as I already declared you that SaaS is a type of infrastructure as a service where you cannot do anything. Everything can be done by the service provider itself. The software, you cannot change the software, or else you cannot do anything. So just you need to purchase the software and utilize the software. After that, you can simply uninstall the software. That's completely depends upon the user requirement. So hope you understand this. If you have any doubts, you can comment out me in the chat box. Waiting for your replies. Any doubt, guys? Just everything will be provided by them. Yes, obviously everything will be provided by them. Yes. Any doubts? You can type in the chat box. I'm waiting for your reply, guys. Which one will be beneficial for the customers? A very nice question, but that depends more detailed about runtime. Okay, we will discuss that whenever we are into the cloud. Don't worry about the runtimes. We will have a brief understanding about what is meant by runtime. That's simply an application. So either what is the software that you are running in the back end? So either it might be Python, or else it might be Java. So those are all comes under the runtime. You don't need to worry about that. Anyways, coming back to this, which one will be beneficial for the customer? So that depends upon the user requirement. So the user wants directly, they want to have an server, and they don't want to take more stress about the servers. They want only the application related things. Then they can directly go into the PaaS. As I already show you in the console, they can directly install their RDS in the specified server. So that's completely user requirement. I cannot specify that this is what the user requires. So, or else I cannot say that. So the user required, so I'm going to, or else the service provider is going to provide that. So that depends completely on user thing. So yes, hope you understand. Funny, is there any doubts? Any example which are kind, any example which are kind of difficulty to classify? Ravi, I cannot understand what you are saying. Can you, you can unmute and ask the question. I am unable to understand that.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, some of the things like, sometimes it will be difficult to classify, right? That may come under SaaS. Sometimes that may classify under a platform as service. So any such kind of examples where people used to ask like this is SaaS or PaaS, how
See,
that kind of things?
first I want to make something clarifically. I want to say you about this I want to give a clarification. This is in the interview perspective. I'm just saying that this is not the question that they are going to ask you in the interview point of view. But if I have to say you what will comes under what, if at all, if they are giving that. So simply you need to understand that who are going to deploy the server, whether the user is deploying the server, if at all, if I am deploying the server here, if you see here, who has deployed the server, this instance, the user has deployed the instance. So this will comes under the IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Now here, whenever I am just selecting the application, now who is going to deploy the server? Now the service vendor is going to deploy the server, then that will be coming under the PaaS. So this make the changes, this will comes under. So as I already said you this, so these are the things that are provided by the service providers. If anybody asking you, just think that what they are going to provide, whether they are going to provide me up to the servers, or else whether they are going to provide me up to the runtime. So depending upon that, you can classify that this will comes under IaaS and this will comes under the SaaS and or PaaS. Did you understand that?
Yeah, I understood. For example, we have like we have email service, right? So
Okay.
so can we classify it like PaaS or SaaS?
Obviously, which type of email service that you are accessing, whether you are accessing Office 365. So if you think that Office 365 that you are using, you can simply say that it is comes under SaaS. Why? Because you can add all the emails to your application, and if you want to modify anything, you cannot do that on Office 365, right? You can just have that application and you can run that application. That's the only thing that you can do. Or else in Office 365, you will be having Active Directory, like mail services, Exchange box or mailbox and all the things. But what you can do, you can have the bunch of, you can purchase, so you can purchase a subscription up to 25 emails or else 50 emails. And you can only add up to 50 emails only. You cannot do anything else. I am so hope you understand this. So are you able to do anything else regarding that? So you're not going to do anything. You are going to only have a purchase, or else you will be having only the subscription up to a certain emails, and you are going to work it on that. That's it. So that will purely comes under SAS. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Yes, that's all about your IaaS and PaaS and SaaS. Then we will be discussing about what are the different types of clouds that we are having. And if you understand this, public cloud.
Chaitanya, before going there, in the one of the screenshot you mentioned, right? In the cloud, I selected some SQL. Can you show me the screen? Okay, I think that is where we are all confusing about the SaaS and PaaS. So here you selected MySQL. This is one example. You opted for PaaS, right? Platform as a service.
Platform as a service, exactly.
Can't we say this MySQL is an application?
Of course, it's an application only.
But in PaaS, in the diagram in PaaS, in the diagram you mentioned, right? Application won't be provided with the PaaS. It's in blue.
Yeah.
But in the
I understand that. One thing I want to show you is that you are going to select about the application, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you select this application in MySQL, whatever the data that you are entering, who will be entering the data? Whether automatically the service provider will give the data, or else the user has to provide the data for the database. Actually, MySQL is a database, right?
Yeah.
So inside,
it's like a DBMS, right? Yeah.
It's a database management service. Okay.
Yeah.
So who has to provide the data? Obviously, the user has to provide the data. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you see here, what I am saying, the data will be provided by the manager. Also, who will be providing that? User will be providing the data. Okay. Now, if I select this application, MySQL application, inside this MySQL application, I am going to provide my data, whatever the user given. So if I have a login page and the login page is connected to MySQL, now the user is going to give the data, right? So that data can be accessed by the IT service guy, whoever has deployed this MySQL, I can access that. So you will understand this whenever we go for the MySQL services also. Don't worry about that. But as of now, who will be accessing that? If you want to modify any data also, you can do the modification. Okay. Now, when we come back to the SaaS, software as a service, here you cannot see what the user data. So whatever the user data has given, you cannot see that. You can just give the username and password. That's it. You cannot modify anything. You cannot enter into the application and you cannot modify that. But in MySQL, yes, you can enter into this MySQL with the help of SQL Workbench client, and you can modify the data, whatever we have given that. So we can enter into this. Okay.
Yeah.
Still, it is confusing.
Yeah. It looks like understanding, and in the other side, it's like confusing because only that word application is confusing. So
yeah, I understand that. Don't worry about this. We will discuss about in depth whenever we go for the RDS, relational databases. I will make sure that you will have a clear cut understanding. Don't worry. We are having a very good practical on this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, there is one more question I got, that is the same services will be provided by other cloud services. Of course, so the same services will be so we will not have any control on the options that are in red. Yeah, of course, you don't have any control over the options that are in red. So the same services. So this is related to the I'm just specifying it for the cloud. So these are the service models that are provided by the cloud. I am not specifying that these are the service models that are specified by the AWS, or else these are not the service models that are provided by the Azure. So I am saying you, these are the service models of the cloud. Cloud means that you will have the AWS, you will have the Azure, you will have GCP, everything. So these are the service models that are provided by the any n number of service providers, whoever are providing you the cloud. So everything in the red or else everything in the orange can be not handled by the users. So it is completely handled by the service providers, whoever are the service vendors are there, they are going to provide that. So you don't need to worry about these things. Yes. Is there any another questions? Hope you understand. Funny, is that clear? Fine. Okay. Now, when we go back to this, what are the different types of cloud? I will just go for a briefing about this, and then we can wind up the session here. So public cloud, and we will be having private cloud, and we'll be having hybrid cloud. Now here, if I have to mention the public cloud, so can anybody ping me what is meant by public? I'm waiting for your responses in the chat box. Can anybody say what is meant by public? Yes, guys, fastest finger. Exactly, everyone will have an access, exactly, available to all. Fantastic. So a public cloud is a type of cloud where we can have an access to, so all the clients can access this type of cloud. So what are the services that are provided by the cloud can be accessed by anyone. So the best example is AWS. If you are having an account in AWS, or else if you are having an Amazon account, you can have the access towards your public cloud. And I can go with the Azure. Yes, it is going to provide the access to each and every customer. Now, what is meant by private cloud? Yes, as you have given the answer, private cloud. Exactly. So data with a particular organization, or else any sort of services that will be bounded for an organization, any sort of services that can be provided by a single organization, any servers that can be handled by an organization only. It is not going to share the servers, or else it is not going to share any virtualization with any another customers apart from the organization. Then that is going to come under the private cloud. So within the organization, I can simply say that within the organization, or else within any company, so then that will comes under the private cloud. So if I have to give a briefing about that, now let me go back here. Public cloud, a public cloud provider offering storage and computing services optimize their computing hardware and software support of these type of workloads. Now, if you have the definition, a public cloud is defined as a computing service provided by the third-party providers over the public internet, making them available to anyone. So here the most important thing is So the service providers will be providing the services to the customers, any customers all around the world through the public internet. Then that is called as the public cloud. Now, what is meant by private cloud? If you see here, a private cloud is a cloud computing deployment model where the customer controls or owns the data center providing the cloud services. So whoever are the customer are going to have their own data center, or else they will have their own servers. Then that will comes under the private cloud. So they are not going to share this with any another third party customers, or else any outside customers. They are not going to provide the services to them. Then that will comes under the private. So privately we are doing in the sense that's completely in a single organization. So they are not going to say that. Now the next one is hybrid cloud. The best example of the hybrid cloud is connecting or else combining the public services and private services will comes under a public hybrid cloud. So what is this connecting thing? Now if you think here, for example, let me show you like this. If there is this is my organization. Okay, so inside an organization, I am having a very big server, or else a production server is there. And in this production servers, whoever are the clients, they are accessing this production server and they are accessing the website, and whatever the data that they want to store, they can store this data. Now, what I think is that saving the data in only one server is not very good for me. So what I have done, I have migrated the data, or else I have copied my entire data into a public cloud. So there is I have taken a cloud access like AWS access or else Azure access, and inside the console I have created a server. So I have purchased, or else I have taken a rent of a server. And now what I'm doing, I'm transferring my entire data from my on-premises server to my cloud servers. From on-premises server to the cloud server, I am transferring the data, or else I'm saving the data. Now the data is available in the on-premises server, which means in my physical server, or else in my private location. And as well as the data is also available in the public location. This is also so I am accessing both. I am accessing the public cloud and as well as I am accessing the private cloud. Now this will comes under the hybrid cloud. Now this is the best example. Hope you understand what is meant by a hybrid cloud. Now this is all about the different types of cloud services, a public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud, where public cloud means the cloud services that are provided by that are provided to the entire public or else entire users through a public internet. And a private cloud is a cloud service that are provided within an organization, then that is called as a private cloud. And the services that are having the combination of both public cloud and private cloud will comes under the hybrid cloud. So this is about your cloud services. Hope you understand the different types of clouds. Is there any doubts here? Yes, expecting an reply from the chat box. Hope everything is clear. Is there any doubts? Okay, fantastic. Can you give me some examples? So the best example of public cloud is, as I have given you, AWS and Azure and all the things. And for the private cloud, Alibaba will also comes under the public cloud itself. Alibaba and if you want the best example, let me go here. So the remaining thing. Private cloud. So if you go here, so what are the different private cloud? The company that provides the IBM systems, IBM storage, this will comes under the private cloud, and NetApp, and these are all comes under the. So the best example is simply, if I have to say you the private cloud gurinchi, if I have to say that, what is VPC, how it is different from the private cloud, that we will discuss in the VPC concept. Don't worry, I will make you a clearance of that. Don't worry about that. But as we are discussing about the private cloud, yes, private cloud here, if you see here, now you are having an organization. For example, there is a proprietor now who has asked this question. Can you, Pradeep? Yeah, Pradeep, suppose if you have installed your company and this is your organization. Inside this organization, you have installed a server room, and inside this server room, you are having multiple servers. So these are the servers that you are having inside your organization. and these servers are connected to the storage. Now this is how your servers will be looking like. Inside that you are going to have a sandbox, that is so storage area network, and all the servers are connected to this sandbox so that you can have access towards your storage. Now, if in this company, so suppose this company name as Pradeep Solutions. So this company, now there will be multiple servers, and each and every server, whatever the customer data, all the customer data will be stored inside this storage. Now, who are accessing this? Only the employees who are inside your organization. They are going to access these servers, and they are going to modify the whatever the requirement. But the customers can access this. Only the accessibility will be there. Application accessibility will be there, but they cannot access the servers. So this is the best example of your private server, where you are not going to share your servers with any another vendors or else any another customers. When you come back to the public cloud, these servers or else these server, whatever the virtualization and all the things, the storage, everything will be shared by the users. So that's the best example that I can give you. Is that clear? Anything you want to ask me about this? And VPC, Ravi, you have asked me about the VPC, virtual private cloud. A virtual private cloud, if I have to define virtual private cloud is an isolated service that is provided by the Amazon, which will be providing the security and isolation of from one VPC to the another VPC that is deployed in the public cloud. So here it will be a little bit confusing, but once we get back to the VPC, you will have a clarity about that. For example, just I want to give a briefing about this, and then we will wind up the session as the time is 7:50. So just give me a second. Now, what is VPC? A VPC is a service that is provided by your Amazon. That's, you know about that. Now, for example, Amazon is a public service, which means that there will be several companies which are taking or else which are having access towards this public cloud. Now, what you are going to do, you will be installing your servers in this AWS or else in the Amazon. So, for example, these are the servers that are provided, or else these are the servers that will be having access for the Ola company. Now, the Uber company, which is there, Uber. Now, this Uber company is also going to take servers inside your Amazon. Now, if you see here, in this, you are going to install the servers. So these are the Ola servers. For example, if as of time being, just think that these are the Ola servers. Now, in the same manner, Uber is also going to have their servers in the same vendor, with the same vendor, who is that Amazon, who with the same service provider. Now, if you see here, which type of service it is? It's a public service, which means that everyone can have their servers inside the Amazon. It's well and good. Now, my question is, if Ola and Uber both are the competitors and both are having access towards the public server, now if they are having the access towards the public server, if they are not isolated, which means that one server is not isolated with the another server, which means that what is meant by isolation, that should not have any part of communication with the another. So one server should not have the communication with the another server, which means that if these two are not isolated, then what will be happening? Now both the servers will have the communication, and there might be a chance of security threat. So some of the data can be accessed by the Ola, and some of the data can be accessed by the Uber. Now here comes the concept called as VPC. Here what happens? There will be a virtual private cloud where it is going to isolate these servers belongs to this particular organizations, and these servers belong to this particular organization. So we do not combine these two servers, and these two servers should not have the communication. So there comes the virtual private cloud, which means that you are going to deploy your servers in the public cloud, but still they will be acting like a private cloud. If you see here, these servers belongs to Ola only, which means that those service or else those people will be accessing these servers. Whoever are the Ola employees, they can access these servers, and these servers can be accessed by only the Uber employees. So here you are going to have the isolation, which means that one company servers will not be communicating with the another company servers. So this is called as your virtual private cloud, which is deployed inside your public cloud. Is that clear? Is there any doubts? Ravi? So we will be having an in-depth analysis. We will be having a practical towards this VPC in the next upcoming classes. You don't need to worry about that. You can have a clear-cut understanding about that. But as of now, is that clear? Do you have any doubt regarding this?
Yeah, it is clear. Regarding resources, like it won't be sharing any resources, right?
No resources will be shared between one VPC to the another VPC until the user requests.
Okay.
Until the user required. So if a user of one VPC requires the resources to be communicated with the another VPC, then that can be happen. So we are having VPC peering techniques, we are having VPC transit gateway techniques. With the help of these things, we can have the communication between one VPC to the another VPC. Is that clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Hope you understand the session. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, or else as the time has been going on, it is going very fastly. So I have to end up the session over here. And further clarification, if you want anything clarification, you can reach out to the durgasoft.com, or else you can reach out to the numbers. What are the mobile numbers that has been provided in the Durgasoft website, and the complete course curriculum is available over there. So this is the day 2 of your demos, and tomorrow will be the day 3, the last demo of your cloud. And from Monday onwards, whoever has been registered for this course will be enrolled, or else will be allowed into the classes. Hope you understand that. And yes, that's all. That is what I want to say. And from Monday onwards, the URL or else the login credentials might change. Login URL might change. So be cautious about that. And at the time of your login, before logging, so please contact the Durgasoft to get that URL. Whoever has been registered and who has cleared their dues, or else who have cleared their fees, please contact Durgasoft for the URL so that you are going to get it out. And I want more responses from you guys. Without your responses, the classes will be very dry. So my classes will be completely one-to-one sessions. So whoever will be giving the answers, they will have a clear-cut understanding. Is that clear?
Yeah, Chaitanya, is it second class? It was told me that it is first one.
It's this yesterday we have started it. So it's just a basics of what is meant by cloud.
Can I have that recorded?
Sure, you can have that. You can reach out to Durgasoft team, so they will provide you the recorded videos. You don't need to worry about that. I will inform them also one time. So you just reach out to them. They will provide the videos. Okay.
Yeah. One more question. You said 45 days, right? This is.
Yeah, it's 45 working days.
Okay. Mean Saturday and Sunday holidays, only Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday will be off. 2 week offs will be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the course curriculum will be available with the durgasoft.com. Everything is available over there. Please look into that. So that's all. I will be winding the session right here, and we will meet tomorrow, and we will have some exciting concepts in the next class. We are going to learn about networking concepts. So have a nice day, guys, and bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm Chaitanya. I will be the trainer for you the next 45 days of classes, AWS classes. So what we are going to learn in the AWS and all the things that we will learn. First of all, the agenda of today's classes will be what is cloud. And the second one is so what is the cloud services, or else what are the cloud services that we have to understand these concepts. So as per today's agenda, we need to complete these 2 things before going further. So everybody will be nowadays, everyone are hearing the word called as cloud, AWS, Azure, GCP, all these things. Now, if you see here, what is meant by cloud? Before you understand these things, you need to have a brief looking towards your infrastructure. So before you learn about cloud or else what cloud is actually, so previously several years before or several years before, everybody will say that a cloud is a storage. Cloud is a storage where we will be storing the data. So only to store the data we use the cloud. But as of now, what is happening as the days go on and as the years pass on, the cloud has introduced so many services. So we will discuss about that. Anyways, so a cloud storage, a cloud is basically is all about the storage where anyways, this is completely for infrastructure like we are going to discuss the cloud regarding the infrastructure. This is all regarding the DevOps itself. So if you are learning, it is completely only about AWS. We are not discussing about the DevOps. Whatever the course that you are learning in the next 45 days, that will be completely about AWS only. It is not for the DevOps. So the DevOps classes are different. Okay. So you are a certified AWS developers, that's fine. So then these classes are not meant for this. So you are looking for this. Anyways, we will discuss about that. We will bring it out. Anyways, in the last 20 minutes of the time, last 10 minutes of the time will be for your questionnaire. We will discuss all about all those things. But as of now, let us dive into the concepts that we are going to discuss. Okay. Anyways, coming back to the next one. Yep. Nothing much. That's fine. I will try to clear out all your doubts. Whoever are having any doubts regarding the cloud, we will discuss about all those doubts in the last 10 minutes of the session, where we are going to end at the time of ending of the session. We will discuss about all those things. Don't worry. Now, when we go back to this, everybody are thinking that the cloud is a storage. In the previous days, everybody are thinking that the cloud is a storage. Simply, if I have to say, the best example, so many people will take as Google Drive or else OneDrive or else somewhere like Microsoft Drive. So anything will comes under the cloud storage. They will thinking about that I can store the data into the cloud. But later on, what happened? The cloud has introduced so many services, and before we go for the AWS, first of all, you need to understand why we require cloud. What is the necessity that each and every company nowadays? What is the necessity that each and every company are looking forward for cloud? So, every startup company or also every small range of companies are looking for cloud engineers, or also Memens is also nowadays looking for the cloud engineers. What is the necessity for that? So before going for all those things, if you are an engineer, if you are an engineer in working in any IT firm, so everybody knows that for running the IT services, you need to have servers. So you need to have the servers, and you need to have network, and then you need to have the security appliances or all security devices. All these things you need to have. The collaboration of all these things, the collaboration of servers, network and security, all these things will comes under a particular locality or else particular what I can say, particular room of servers. Then that is called as a data center, where we are going to install all our servers. So servers, networking and security. So what is meant by a data center? So if you need to understand this before going for the cloud, we need to understand the data center architecture. What is meant by data center? So a data center is a place where a large amount of server racks are installed. Inside those server racks, we will have the physical servers. So what is meant by this data center? Now, as I already said you, and this data center will provide you about servers, and inbuilt to the data center we will have the network, and this will provide you the security devices. All the security devices will be present inside the data center. Now, how a data center will be looking like physically, how a data center will be looking like. So if I go here, Yes. So if you see, these are the server racks where your servers are getting installed. Is my screen visible to you? Is there any problem with the screen sharing?
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
No,
Yeah.
it's visible.
That's fine. So if you see here, these are the server racks, or else these are the racks where inside your data center where all your servers are getting installed. And not only the servers, in these racks you can install the networking devices like routers, and as well as the security devices like firewalls. Everything will be installed inside these racks, and all the racks are present inside a data center. Now, if I have to show you, it's a very huge area. The data center is going to cover a very huge area. If you see in this picture, you can clearly visualize that how big the data center is all about. See that. So if you see the trucks near the data center, see how they are looking like a small toys. So this is this big how a data center. Actually, it is like it is a cloud data center. But when you compare to your normal data centers, like normal company data centers, for example, if you are going to take about TCS, or else if you're going to take about Wipro, or else any company data centers, they are relatively small compared to the cloud data center. But eventually, what you are going to find out inside a data center, only the servers and network and security appliances will be available inside a data center. Now, how can we select an area for a data center? If I want to install any data center, then how can I select an area for a data center? The first thing what you need to see is you need to check it out for the power. So if you think in a company which is having a 10 computers, if in a room there are 10 computers, then definitely we need to have an AC. But if you go for a data center, a very big data center where there are thousands of racks, inside the thousands of racks, you can have some thousands of servers. Now, how much amount of AC, or else how much amount of coolingness that the particular servers will require? And regarding that, how much amount of power that a data center requires? So we need to have high power availability, so that the data center will get power from two substations. From two substations without any power loss. If at all one substation is down, then we can get the power from the another substation, so that continuous power supply will be available for the data center, and as well as it will have around 3 days of power backup. A data center will have 3 days of power backup, and that is how we can maintain continuity in the power thing. And the next one is the second one, and the most important one is networking. Like data centers are not residing near to or else next to your companies. So data centers will be available only at the far end of the city, so that we need to have the network connectivity from our company. That the server needs to connect to the data center, or else the client needs to connect to the data center where their servers are located. So how they are going to connect? If at all there is no network connectivity, it is impossible to connect to the data center. So definitely we need to have a network connectivity that can be done by your data center. And the next one is, first of all, we need to check out the climatic conditions also, and climatic conditions like what are previously within 20 to 30 years, is there any disaster occurred at that particular location? If there are any disasters, then the data center will not be installed at that particular location. So if there is no disasters are occurred, or else less frequently any disasters are occurred, then that can be selected as a perfect area for installing the data center. And as well as transport facility. So why we require this transport facility? And not only that, we need to have, so every 5 to 6 years, the equipment will be changing. Obviously, we have to change the servers, or else obviously we need to go for the maintenance of the servers. Everything will be done. So within 5 to 6 years, we need to have all the changes. For that, we need to have the transport facility available very near to the data center. Of course, the data centers has to be installed at the far end of the city, but still we need to have the connectivity through the all ways of transport. And as well as equipment requirement, as I already said you that every 5 years we need to change the data center or else data center equipment. Then definitely we need to have all these things ready. So why we require all this, why we require the data centers, what is the necessity of a data center. Like, hope you understand that what are the necessities that we have, or else what are the precautions that we have to take whenever we are installing any data center. Now, after installing the data center, my data will be transferred between the companies and to the customers. Now, if I have to install this data center, which is very, very big in scale, I need to have very huge amount of investment that I have to do on a particular data center. If I am a small scale industry, or else if I am running a small scale firm, then how can I go for this type of data center? Is that feasible for me? For example, there is a company where there are only 5 to 6 employees are there. They are trying to work it on a particular application, and they want to deploy the application on a particular server, which is about a very startup industry. So for a startup industry, is that recommended to have the servers, these many number of servers and this many number of what I can say, how much amount you are going to spend on the servers is not feasible for a startup company. So what is the main thing that we have to overcome without spending the cost, without having this much amount of cost? How can I go for that? Now there comes a picture of cloud. So this is how your cloud will be introduced for the small scale industries. What is meant by a cloud? A cloud is a service provider, or else it is going to provide the compute service, or else it is going to provide the network and security services, and you are going to have your computers just within a blink of your eyes. You can install your servers and you can run your applications without any further efforts, without putting any extra efforts, or else without purchasing those servers. You will just rent a server and you will just install the application on the server and you will run it out. For example, if I have to show you, I don't have any server right now. I just want to introduce, or else I just want to install my own company. So I will go to aws.amazon.com. From here, I will log into my console. I will just install a server. I give my password.